9.5 for me.
Oh,
Yeah.
26
hey now.
Yeah.
minutes. And right now we're betting Juve panels.
Well, in that case, $1.
I was listening to Howard Stern, and like as soon as it's just every episode is so foul all the time. And like I can't even believe I like listening. It's just total. It's just garbage. It's just absolute garbage. When he interviews people, it's actually like it's pretty quality because I think he's like really good at interviewing people. But as soon as I get in the car, he's like, there's no way it's 9 inches. You know, they're going back and forth, and they're like, you know, he's like, I think he took an illegal measurement. He's like, I think this guy's measuring from his butthole.
Oh, God.
And the guy's like, well, where are you supposed? That is where I measured from. He's like, measure as far back as you can. Right when it starts up every single time.
Oh, that's why he's the king of radio.
I know. He's still killing it. I sent you guys a text this morning. Did you get it? Did you see the first text I sent you guys this morning?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I was proud of you.
Let me see.
I wonder if Nsima, maybe you didn't see it.
The Michael Jordan one.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah,
That was
yesterday.
yesterday.
That was a cool clip, huh?
I pooped.
That was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I pooped myself this morning. I
Right.
thought I was in the clear. I thought it was clearly like bubbles. I thought it was just air. My stomach's been fine lately. I haven't had any issues, so I haven't felt sick. I haven't, sometimes if you have like diarrhea, you get that burn in your
Yeah.
stomach. You're like, whoa. I didn't have anything like that. I got to Starbucks early today. I was there at like 4:45, and I was like, I get to kind of just chill. I'll just listen to some music, and I like tilt back my seat, and I'm like, I got a couple bubbles going on here. So I went to let them out, and I was like, oh no. And I was like, I don't know like how much of a mess this is. I don't know. I don't know.
Catch it?
What's that?
Did your cheeks catch it?
Yeah, I was that's what I was hoping for.
Ooh.
So I went into Starbucks and used the bathroom, and I was in there for like 15 minutes trying to clean up, man. It wasn't horrible, but it got out. It streaked in. It streaked into the undies. Had I not been sitting down, I think I would have been okay. But I was already sitting down, and then I had to like get up and then go back and do my business. So I lost a pair of drawers this morning.
Yeah.
Lost a pair of undies. I had to just. What are you gonna do? You got to check them out, right?
Are you going to wash them?
No, I just threw them away.
See, that's a rich people move. Because I wouldn't just chuck my boxers.
Like
I'd take them home, I'd
boxers
wash
are
them.
$20.
Yeah, I'd wash them, I'd clean them, and I'd reuse them on another day.
Well, there's a pair of boxers on Mace Boulevard in the bathroom if you want to go ahead and try to wash
my
those babies
God.
out.
You chucked them in the trash. Oh, I just went commando out of the bathroom.
Yeah, I was like, I don't think this
Oh,
is going to
God.
work out. But luckily, I had my baby wipes because otherwise it wouldn't have been. And today's a squat day and stuff. I was just like, I didn't know how everything was going to work out.
Yeah. That's why it's always good. I keep baby wipes in my car, the ones from Costco. I always have those because whenever I go to a public restroom, I take my baby wipes with me. That I don't know if you guys do that.
Yeah. I have them in my backpack.
Yeah, oh, that's a life hack right there because public restrooms, their toilet paper is just too abrasive. It's just too tough. So those baby wipes soften things up.
Wow. I just don't think you get everything as cleaned up as you need to.
Yes, no, exactly.
You know?
If anyone like is listening, obviously.
I mean, who wants to be like called out? Like just flat out called out. Like, dude, you only do things at like 60%.
Yep.
Nobody wants to hear that.
Yep,
That's what wiping your ass with toilet paper is like.
exactly.
It's like, bro, you're going 60% on that shit.
Wipe your toilet
Literally.
paper. Yeah, wipe with toilet paper 3 times, and then use a baby wipe and see how much more you grab.
Exactly.
Yeah,
It's
do it.
so
Yes.
wow.
Yeah, do a study.
Yeah.
Run a fucking
Run a
test.
study, yeah.
Run a test.
Oh,
Do
God.
multiple. Do it for 100 days in a row. Make sure that you get this.
Oh God.
Make sure that the test is working the right way.
Yeah, it is very brown eye opening when you realize how much the wipe gets
It gets a lot.
and how much deeper it gets too. That's the important thing.
Yeah, even if it doesn't get solids, it gets like the potential liquid that might be around the
I
butthole.
think we talked about some of this before, but like,
We
did people-
definitely have.
yeah, what did people used to do? Like, I think maybe because
Oh yeah.
like
We
maybe because people ate better because like you just had to because you're a fucking caveman.
Yeah.
Maybe you had some tapered shits here and there and it wasn't that big of a problem.
Probably.
did.
Or then when I talked about using your hand, like just going in like a pond or something and just cleaning it all out.
Remember you mentioned that? Isn't there I think you mentioned there's a place where people shake with a certain hand because the other hand
Oh
is
yeah,
used.
yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. We
on their
did talk
butts.
about that.
I don't want to get it wrong, but I just remember Mike Ryan.
It's either
and
Indiana
then-
or India.
Yeah, yeah. And then even
one of those places.
One of those two.
what was his name? Justin Lovato talked about it too. Him and his wife Stephanie went over and they
The old-
both got sick.
The old poop hand.
Yeah, the poopy hand,
Poop
poopy
finger.
hands under the fingernails.
Oh,
Yeah, last time we looked this up. Remember they had like a stick with a sponge. That's how they.
yeah.
And then
yeah,
they
yeah.
washed it off.
We have a terrible. We got
Whole-
bad show etiquette. Like we started out so bad. Like everyone
Whole-
already fucking. Like no one's listening, right?
They're all left.
Yeah, they're probably all gone. Tired of this shit.
All
talk.
four
Just like-
people left.
Yeah. There's 4 people that were pumped, and
Mhm.
we offended them, and now they're off. Listening to something
I'm
else.
trying to remember though, because usually I can recollect the last time I shit my pants. But I feel like maybe I've been on a winning streak because I don't remember. It's
Certain
been a
streak for
minute.
sure.
Yeah, no streaks.
yeah.
Yeah.
I feel good about myself. I feel like I'm an
Maturing.
adult. I'm a
Yeah.
maturing
Yeah.
adult.
Well,
Yep.
you did poop yourself in the sauna, but that was like
I think that was the last time. that was it. That was the
Yeah.
last time.
that wasn't that long ago,
I baked that. That was so bad.
Oh.
That was so bad, bro.
and it was cooking up.
It cooked. The poop just like cooked in the sauna, and everybody was just like. I was just sitting there like, just sweating away.
You're like, I got a few more minutes in this sauna. I'm on a schedule.
Oh, so disgusting. So disgusting.
Gotta be careful.
Yep.
Andrew's a veteran though. Andrew's been like having poopy problems for forever.
Yeah.
So it's like not fair. Like we're going against a black belt.
Yeah, so that's funny because like people will always look towards me and be like, "You gotta have something." I'm like, dude, I am so good at pooping that I can like just really stay tight and like I'm good. I haven't really ever quite necessarily like I mean
You must have the tightest asshole of all time.
All right, I'm going to leave you two alone for a little bit. Replay that part of the podcast
I
over and over.
stared you in the eyes for
Yeah,
a few seconds.
and your voice got even deeper.
Mhm.
oh, God.
I flattered.
Got the strong muscle back there.
Yeah. I remember the last time was definitely on a trampoline.
Ooh.
That was the last time that it happened.
Shook the shit out of you.
Yeah, I was probably
Wow.
like in 3rd grade though.
Oh.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I was a youngin', but I just remember like
Look how high I can go.
it was I think my brother was on it with me, and then he he launch each other, and I wasn't ready, and I was like oh. I just ran inside.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
Like, oh no, he
Yeah.
crapped himself again.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was telling Andrew this because I felt so okay. So
we're so stupid.
I think the other night I ate some chicken. So I ate these Costco. They have these drumsticks and they season them pretty well. It's pretty good. I air fried it. It was good, right?
Mm.
But it's like every time I eat that chicken, I have like the worst farts, right?
Oh.
So what happened?
It's like a rotisserie chicken kind of thing?
no. It's
Oh.
the drumsticks.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, just the straight drumsticks. So I made them.
What the hell's in those things?
Great seasoning, just really great seasoning. So I ate them. I was farting throughout the day, and like I was just like, I was like, this is really really bad. Like when you smell your own
Oh,
farts,
yeah, your
and
own-
you're disgusted. You're just like, God,
It's your own recipe, right?
yeah, I can't be around anybody right now.
Oh my God, your own brand. I've
Your
heard
own
it right.
brand, yeah.
And I'm in the bed with my lady, and I fart, and I'm just like, oh no,
She just
please,
fails.
please don't be one of those.
Oh, it's one of
Right?
those.
It's one of those.
Ah,
And immediately I smell it and I chuckle a little bit. I was like, right. And then she smells it and it's so bad that she starts to cry a little bit.
oh man.
Because she was already feeling just a little, right. And then she smelled that. She was just like, "Grr."
Oh man.
I was like, my fart was so bad I made her cry. That was legendary.
I've definitely done some that have woke my wife up. Not from the noise necessarily, but from the
smell.
smell. She's like, "Oh my, what's going on? Like, is something outside?" Or I'm like, "No, it's actually came from my butt."
It was toxic,
Yeah.
man. It was legitimately toxic.
Yeah,
Oh,
I've done some that smelled like the air coming out of a bike tire. Like a weird, like, yeah, like I'm like, what the fuck? the hell did? I'm like, that is insane. I'm like, it's like, it's not even a flat out like stink. It's just like unbearable. You know?
I love these memes too. When you fart and you wait for somebody to smell it, you kind of like there's that anticipation, because like, oh, here comes the cloud, it's coming,
And you're wondering how you're gonna play it. You're like, am I gonna lie?
Yeah.
Or am I gonna tell everybody to own up to it? Be like, yeah, dude, that was me.
Or does
Bad.
everybody just ignore it for some reason?
Yeah.
Which is great too.
And it's funny because like we have 3 little dogs, and every now and
Oh.
again they will fart, and but it's a different smell, so you can't blame the
Yeah,
dog.
yeah,
You're like, damn dog again, but nope.
Dogs will do what dogs will do.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm trying to get better at that. I was telling Nsima after he told that
Try to
story,
fart more.
trying to just do it more, but away from my lady.
No.
Yeah.
I didn't want to do it.
I
there.
just, there's no reason for it other than just like,
Be like, why did Andrew have to go to the hospital for cramps?
yeah,
Like he was
Yeah.
trying to hold it so his old lady wouldn't get smashed by the farts.
yeah. Well, because I was just thinking, I'm like, okay, if I'm over here ripping ass all night long, it's like when I roll over to like, hey, it's like, yeah, it's like you smell like
Nope.
shit, dude.
Yeah, it's a little harder to get some when you're doing that.
Yeah. So, just trying to lay the groundwork and not fumigate the house.
Oh my God.
And we're out.
Where's our script? Isn't Settlegate supposed to help us with that stuff?
It's his day off today.
What the?
I didn't think he actually took time off.
Why do these young kids why do they need days off? What is he doing?
I'm pretty sure no one ever gets vacation here, so I don't
I
know
was-
what he's doing.
No, you're not allowed to have vacation. That's
Yeah.
bullshit. I was in here this morning and there was no Settlegate.
That's weird.
Daily discipline my ass.
Oh,
Right?
Josh, where
that's
you at,
right.
man?
He's either in or on his way to Seattle.
Mm.
Oh,
That's right.
do you have a
Seattle
tournament out
Gate?
there?
Seattle Gate. Damn, that's right.
Wait, we're
I'm
actually joking?
100% serious. Yeah, because on his Instagram he had posted,
Coffee.
yeah, any good coffee
Yeah.
shops in
Yes.
Seattle, and then Josh Kim's dumbass was like Starbucks.
Oh
What
yeah,
a shit.
Starbucks. Wait, is
Yeah.
the original Starbucks in Seattle?
It is.
Correct.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
that's
actually
why.
really, really cool area in Seattle. I mean, Seattle's awesome. But yeah, I've been to the first Starbucks. Pretty cool.
I need to check that out.
It's all like old school. Like it's got all the original. Well, I don't know if it has all the original stuff, but it has some original stuff. The original logo with the boobies hanging out. You're not allowed to have the boobies hanging out anymore. I think it's more covered up or something.
Really, that was the original logo.
Yeah, it had some titties going on.
Oh God.
I was way in favor of it. I was like, this is great. They should bring this back, but people got upset. It's a mermaid, you know?
Let me see what we
It's
mean-
fictional,
Whoa. That's
What?
it looked like.
right?
Mermaids aren't real?
Yeah, they're not real.
Yeah,
but
double check.
yeah, that's.
Isn't there like a place in Sacramento that has mermaids at the club or something?
Dive bar.
right?
Yeah.
dive bar? I've been there once. It was pretty interesting. Yeah, they're swimming around and they come up for wow.
Do they have boobies?
No, they cover them up.
Those are very natural. It's a very natural
That's
lady.
what
That's
it
a-
look like?
That's a natural. that is.
That's kind of weird. Is she holding like her own bush or something? What is that? What is that? Can we
I don't
get-
understand what's going on here.
What's
This
that groomer
Yeah,
that you
that
use? We
is-
need to get her one of those.
Manscaped.
Man, we get a manscape.
Shit,
for
she
her.
needs a
Best a
lawnmower.
man can get.
She's a fucking weed whacker, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never seen this before.
Coffee,
Me
tea,
neither.
spices.
Why did they think that was
This
a good
was
logo?
a terrible idea.
Like seriously, it wasn't Starbucks started in like the 90s. Like this isn't like some super old company. And why did you think that was a good logo? It doesn't matter. I guess this is the proof that logos don't necessarily matter because look how big Starbucks is nowadays.
Well, maybe they were small back then. I don't. I don't
even so,
know.
if you
I don't
start
know the
off like
history of
this,
it.
I mean, you could pretty much start off with the logo being a dick, and
Yeah.
you can make a multi-billion-dollar company. It doesn't matter.
The new Break the Bar logo.
Yeah, not a bad idea, bro.
Yeah, just a silhouette of your.
Yeah.
never
Just
mind.
it says like this is not a phallic symbol. This is a dick. Just says it clearly right on the logo.
We are live right now on YouTube.
Oh,
right?
absolutely, yeah.
Okay,
No, we
I'm-
didn't start yet.
I'm
No,
gonna
we're definitely
find
live.
the YouTube link and
That private stuff that you
Post that
shared
on.
earlier too, that wasn't on there. So
Yeah, I
you're
tagged
good, man.
you
You're in
it.
the clear. No one thinks you're weird except for me and Andrew and
Oh.
everybody that listens and everybody here at
Oh,
Slingshot.
Everyone's that met.
Everyone
that
from
met
Super
you.
Training, everyone at Jiu Jitsu,
Mhm.
your parents, your family.
I'm a
Yeah.
pretty weird guy. Everybody in my life knows it. Everybody Yeah, everybody in my life knows that I'm
We're-
okay with that.
Yeah.
Well,
fuck-
we're 999.
Ah!
Wait.
Yeah, how many minutes we got?
Ah, well, okay. We're at like 15:30.
I said 12.
Ah, so you won.
Hey!
You won. I said 26 minutes. Oh,
What do I
man.
win? Like a sombrero or something?
Can you quickly tell the
I need to
people
win
what we're
something.
talking about? Because nobody
Oh,
knows.
no one heard that
No,
part.
and then I'm gonna change the camera so that way they could see it.
Oh, God.
we have a clock in here that just doesn't work. We have like a digital clock.
Yeah. Oh,
Maybe
man.
somebody can send us a clock that actually works. But we keep breaking. I think it's because we're breaking records on social media. I think that's what that
Yeah,
means.
I
That's what
think
that stands for.
That's what that means.
And we took bets on like when this clock was going to get all fucked up again. We don't know why this keeps happening, but it went to 9959. I don't know. It's like just doesn't work, and it did so at 15 minutes. We took bets. I said 12 minutes. Andrew said
I said 12 and a half, or I think I said 9.5.
Nine and a half,
I didn't have any faith.
I
and
said
then
26.
yeah,
But
Nsima
yeah,
said-
there it is. I'm showing it on screen right now,
wow.
and it just goes to that at any random time.
I wasn't expecting that.
God.
And you caught it right when it switched, or you just
You
looked
caught
it
it
up?
right when it
Yeah,
switched.
yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much. I saw it a couple
Oh.
times. I saw it like more than once, so I didn't get like the exact time, but yeah.
That's hilarious.
Dude, why can't we get shit that works?
This is an Amazon brand clock too, right?
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure like it's one of those Amazon basics in terms of the shot clocks. And
We might need to up our game and go to Costco.
yeah. Costco's super reliable. Actually, we were just talking about
Target.
Oh yeah.
Target ain't bad.
Target's never bad too.
Publicize what I learned.
Yeah, go. Actually,
Okay.
Christmas is coming up, so give
What'd
the
you
people some
learn?
hacks.
This is bad, but I mean whatever. I'm all about saving money. So I had some hair clippers or whatever. I had them for like 2.5 years. They started pulling my hair, and
Oh,
yeah,
that hurts so bad.
so bad. Like
Whew.
so, oiled them up, lubed them up, and everything. And then eventually it was like, okay, I'm gonna have to take it apart and try to fix it, or just buy new ones. And I'm definitely that guy that like if we have to return something, I'll walk away. Like I don't like doing that. Like I started like planning this big old story about how like they worked and then they stopped working. I don't know what happened.
You feel like they're gonna be like bullshit.
They're gonna interrogate you. It's like, oh my gosh. So, anyways, she's looking up like, you bought it on this account? Like, yeah. She's like, I'm going back to 2017 and I don't see it. I'm like, I don't know, maybe a different car. I don't know. And then eventually she found it. And she's like, oh, okay, well we can't exchange it, but I can give you your money back for it. I'm like, damn, that's amazing. And then we look up at the return pile and there's like dead plants. And Stephanie's like, you guys get plants returned? She's like, oh yeah, absolutely. Wait till after Christmas. People bring back their Christmas trees after Christmas and they just say, oh, it died before Christmas, so I want my money back.
There's your Christmas hack.
So people are buying Christmas trees and then after Christmas returning them at Costco to get a refund.
That's so cool.
What is wrong with people?
Exactly.
So cool. That's just so savage. That's just like penny
but
pinching,
how do you-
frugality at the bet.
How do you keep a straight face and be like, yep, it died right before Christmas?
That's
Even though it's currently after Christmas, and I know it seems like I'm being cheap by returning it, but no, that's not the case.
they really need to put like some fine print,
Dude,
but it is what
Costco
it is.
return policy is awesome,
Yeah,
but
it is.
They need to be like, hey, if you didn't use it, because it wasn't working, then maybe you can get your refund. But that's some bullshit right there, right?
It is. But, I guess people. are
Didn't you
gonna do
find
what they
some
gotta
other
do.
hack too? Didn't you order food a certain way and get it cheaper or something? Or was that somebody else in here? Maybe ordered food from like a certain place a certain way, and
I know.
or maybe my brother did.
Boar, he ordered at Five Guys, and it made
He
it.
got a secret code or something.
Yeah, instead of getting like a cheeseburger with no bun, he just asked for single patties, and it was like half the price. Yeah, so I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't have to take out a loan to go to Five Guys. I'm joking, but
Wow,
that was
that's
like
weird.
that was one of the reasons why I kept saying like In-N-Out was just better because the value was better.
Mm.
But he said that you just order single patties and the cheese is free or some shit like that.
Wow.
And yeah, it knocked the cost down like significantly.
Free
Yeah.
cheese?
I'll say this: Five Guys is a
Can I
little
just
bit
go
What are
there?
we
expensive.
doing here?
Five Guys is a little bit expensive, so that's wow.
Five
Chris.
Guys is really expensive.
Good hack.
Yeah. So
earlier today we were talking about some diet stuff, and we were talking about you know, counting calories and when to not count calories, and then a difference. There's some huge differences going on. There's some people that just want to look good in a t-shirt, and they just want to be like healthier. They just want to make some small life changes. Really, they just maybe let's say they're I don't know, 260 pounds, and they're around, I don't know, 5'9" or something like that, right? Like that's a heavier person, right? If if they don't have a lot of muscle mass, that's not going to be a good look to be wearing around, right?
Yeah.
And they just want to lose some weight. They just want to lose, 20, 30 pounds. They don't even need to do, hardly any of the shit that we recommend on the show. The 10-minute walk would be great. Maybe utilizing some fasting, but not to the extremes that we take it. And maybe utilizing some strategies that we talk about, like just eating less carbs. But there's really no reason for them to not eat any carbs, unless we find that they really like ketogenic style foods. Then maybe we can have further discussion on that. And then there's probably not a real reason to start someone out with really weighing foods and doing a lot of calculations. And so, like, I guess let's just try to open this up a little bit, and let's figure out there's no easy way to do things that are hard.
Yeah.
So when we're talking about somebody that has accumulated body fat over a long period of time, what they're about to do is going to be very difficult. And I've lost a lot of weight, but I can look back at it and think it wasn't that hard. I can look back at even the money I've made and stuff and think, oh, it wasn't that, but really it was fucking hard. That's why not everybody's able to do it, right? It's very, very difficult. It's difficult, and we all know how hard it is. Like, let's just say someone's like, man, you just can't have coffee. You can have coffee, but you can only do it like once a week, right? And we don't really even need coffee, but you actually do need food. So what are some good strategies someone can do that just wants to be just a little bit better, just a little healthier?
I think a good support system. And we're not talking about an individual that's like fit. We're talking about a general individual, right? I think having a good support system is really beneficial if you're trying to get into shape. Whether that be you don't absolutely need a coach. There's a lot of resources out there, but if you have family around you, etc., the people around you can make a very, very big difference. That's something that I've noticed when a lot of individuals start doing this. One thing I really like to figure out is like who around you is like maybe also wanting to do this too, or do you like are the people around you out of shape? Do they have good habits? And if everyone around them, whether it's their husband, their wife, the people they live with, if everyone around them is not doing, they don't have good nutritional habits or they're not doing anything to be in shape, it's very difficult for you to try and uptake that on your own if the people surrounding you also are doing bad things. Because you'll be trying to eat this, then everyone around you is eating something different, or eating something you'd like to eat, and it's very easy to fall off. So it's like, I think that's one big thing.
Especially when you haven't developed the discipline just yet.
You haven't developed the discipline. It's different if you're somebody who's already in shape, right? And you have your significant other and they're not doing whatever. But if you've been in shape and you want to do whatever, it's easier for you since you've built that discipline. But having to build discipline in a bad, I guess, situation around you, that's tough. And I feel like somehow you either need to help the people around you get better habits in terms of that, or change your setting if possible. I'm not telling a husband or a wife to leave their significant other or anything, but just, if you're trying to go on a healthier path, that's very important.
Yeah, for me, just because I am a little bit closer to the general person, setting a time on something or setting a certain goal. Right now the goal is abs by Christmas, so that keeps me really, really focused in. Like, there's been a couple of times where I'm like, I kind of really want like this or that, and it's like, do I want it more than I want abs? Like, no, that's definitely not the case.
Yeah.
But so for your average person, it might be a certain amount of weight that you want to weigh by Thanksgiving when you see family. That, I think, to me, that it's extra motivation.
Yeah.
And also, I think telling somebody that is a little bit more knowledgeable than you, like you guys. Like I asked you guys for help,
Yeah.
and you guys are now guiding me. But yeah, I really think that like setting like something on your calendar and just being like, that's when I want to weigh X, and then you kind of just start putting things into place to help get you there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that might be even a little bit more advanced, but I think what like Mark's kind of more leaning towards is just like even simpler than that, right?
Yeah. And honestly, no, you have a point there, because it's like you want to figure out what your triggers are potentially. Because I think when John Berardi was on the show, he mentioned this. You want to set up kind of a framework for yourself. I think that people underestimate the amount of the effect that stress can have on you when it comes to trying to take on a weight loss goal, right? If you already have a very stressful lifestyle, whether it be work, family, etc., that can back you up. So you want to figure out a way to get rid of that. But let's just say, you're consistently getting into things at work, and then that causes you to go overeat, right? You want to figure out like, what are the things that typically go on a day-to-day, week-to-week basis that causes me to maybe go over the edge, or that causes me to make this decision. And you want to try and derail those things. So you really want to take a look at your life, because if you don't, then those stressors are always going to cause you to backpedal. And if you never actually take a look at them, you never actually, figure out why every time you get off work, you always have to go to Wendy's or whatever. You always have to go here and get this thing that you're craving. If you never figure those things out, that also is very difficult. So I think one thing is to figure out a way to mitigate the stress in your life or combat that, so that it doesn't end up being something that causes you to move backwards.
And how would you tell somebody that's like, you just said like, oh, like really look at your life and figure out like what's going to be the triggers and whatnot. Like for some people that might be a really daunting task, especially if like, damn, I do like going to Wendy's. I do like going to Starbucks and getting the, whatever high caloric sugary drink, but I can't give that up. Like, how can you tell them like, no, like it sounds crazy right now, but eventually it gets really, really easy.
For some people, I mean, you just have to talk about it, and you got to figure out what causes them to make those decisions. Like it could be.
Sometimes it's deep.
Sometimes
it's like really mild. They just enjoy it. And sometimes it's deep. Like, they blurt out that their dad called them fat when they were young or something. You're like, whoa, okay, fuck. Okay, now, and then that's a whole different thing. I mean, that's like somebody who probably has lost weight several times over, but doesn't feel worthy of it. They lose weight and they start having some success and they feel good. And because they have some damage in their past, they have some trauma, that the food really is an addiction. There's some controversy over like how addictive food really is. And I think that if you had trauma and it's filling in the trauma, well, that actually works. Unfortunately, it can make you really unhealthy though.
Yeah. But I think it's like that is something that needs to be talked about. It could just be that they're just making a bad decision and you need to figure out a way to derail it. So make another decision in place of it consistently, so that doesn't end up being your go-to. But sometimes it just could be, a lot of times it's stress at home.
Yeah.
That's what I find a lot. It's stress at home, significant other, stress, kids, etc. And figuring out ways to deal with that stress in a different way than going towards your favorite food that makes you feel pleasure is what we got to figure out how to combat.
And let's just say like, you think about the different environments that you're in. So you got your support group. That would be immensely helpful. Putting a time domain on your goal would be really helpful, because not only putting a time domain on it, it's important for several reasons. It makes you think about what it is you actually want. So you can say 10 pounds. You could say, I want to lose 10 pounds. A really key factor with that whole thing, though, would be just make sure it's reasonable. Don't say I want to lose 20 pounds in a month. Just be a little easier on yourself so that but many people have lost 20 pounds in a month, but I would urge you away from that. I would say like, just pick like 5 pounds. And then if you lost 5 pounds in 2 weeks, then great. That's cool. And then say, well, now that would be cool to be on task to do another 5 pounds, and you'd be ahead of the game. But when you're thinking about all these different stresses and all these different places that you end up in, so you're with different people, right? And then you're also in different places. So think about the places that you're in, and then how do you get out of those places or get away from those places? Maybe there's a particular place that you guys go to for lunch all the time at work. Maybe there's a gathering, maybe you get together with your buddies on the weekend and shoot pool and watch football. And that's another environment where you're not eating healthy. And maybe that place doesn't have options that even seem remotely healthy to you. But this is where choosing a diet that fits you and that suits you well can really be effective. You can say, okay, well, I go to a bar and they got like wings and burgers, and so you can go kind of keto, and you can say, I'm going to get the burger, I'm going to eat a couple of fries, and I'm going to get a Diet Coke, right? You can kind of transform some of the decision making that you're doing. If you're eating lower fat, then you'd have to make a different choice, different decision. Another option though too is just to let's say that you on your drive home you always see like a Carl's Jr. or something, and you're like, God, I love Carl's Jr. Or there's a McDonald's on your route or something like that. See if you can take a different route. Might be hard to avoid McDonald's, but if that really is a problem for you, if you're really like at the end of the day, you're going to make a bad decision, abstinence, just fucking don't go anywhere near it. Like just don't even, that way you don't even have to really think about it as much.
Yeah, you really got to figure out the things that typically get in your way. And on that note of like, coworkers or going out to lunch, etc. I've heard from quite a few people, whenever somebody starts going on a diet, like people around them or like their coworkers, like, what are you doing? What is that? And it makes people feel weird. You know what I mean? I think you need to kind of be okay with feeling a little bit weird and doing things differently. I think you mentioned that the other day. Or you mentioned that the other day when you went into a restaurant. I think it was The Habit, right?
Yeah.
And you were like, you're looking at what everybody else was eating. You're like, I feel good about this, right?
Yeah.
And I think you guys, when you did the Gabrielle Lyon episode, she was like, all her friends think she's super freaking weird because of the way she eats, right? It's okay if the people around you are eating a certain way and they think you're a little bit weird for eating that way. It's because you're doing something differently and you're doing something better for yourself.
Yeah.
That's okay. You don't have to, I guess, conform to the way that they're eating.
Yeah, and I think just a super easy thing to think about is like, if you want to look like everybody else, you can eat like them and have them be like, okay with your food, or you can switch it up and try to better yourself.
Exactly.
How many people over the years have looked at like a John Cena, an Elon Musk, The Rock, Jeff Bezos, and been like, whoa, that guy is really fucking weird. Right? Like they're just different, right? Like I mean, John is very weird. Like he's like, one of my good friends, but like he's just different. He stands out. And that's okay. That's good. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
It's a positive. Like you're trying to be so disciplined and so into it, not necessarily like hardcore, not standoffish, none of that bullshit, but like you're trying to be so buttoned up that you really want people to be kind of pissed about it. Like, man, like will I ever catch up to that guy? Like, then you're kind of thinking to yourself, well, if I really, no, probably not. You want it to be like, you want to be a little different than what you see most people doing. And, in some of this, like in the beginning of this, you won't be that different. You'll be very much the same because you're trying to make small changes. But what's exciting about it, and the reason why we're so fired up about it, and the reason why we talk about it on every show, is that we know what can happen, and we know it can happen to you. Like we're so pumped for Andrew, because we know like Andrew's made he made great amount of progress in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
But the progress, Nsima's getting all fired up about it now. The progress that he's going to go through in the next like 8 or 10 weeks is going to be really transformative. And it's going to be a place that he probably otherwise thought he would never get to. And he's going to learn so much from it.
Dude.
I know. I'm
locked
excited.
in. Locked in.
Yeah. Mark told me, he's like, hey, eventually you're going to like cardio's going to come at least 3, maybe 4 times a week. You're going to have to be on that step mill. And I got all giddy and I just responded. I'm like, this is going to sound weird, but like, I'm excited that that's the new prescription.
Step mill turns you on.
And then
hey now
a little bit. Yeah, actually kind of. Maybe. And then he sends me a voice message back like, all right, if that's the case, it starts next week. And I'm like, all right, let's go.
And so,
yeah.
to explain some of that. So part of the reason Andrew's already he's already at an advanced state. Like he's already been lifting for years. He's already been dieting pretty hard, messing around with different diets for the last 2 years or so. So he knows the game, you know. And I'm thinking in my head like, how do I throw stuff at him that is so challenging that it's like, fuck you, I can do that. You know what I mean? Like if I just give him underhand pitches all the time, he's going to kind of take them for granted and it'll be like too easy.
Yeah.
Like I want him to be harder. I know he doesn't have a step mill. I know that he could easily, I know some of his gym setup that he has in his house, but I'm like, I don't want it to be that easy. I want to make it a little harder so that there's a routine, there's a pattern, there's something like burned into him where he's like, I got to fucking get this shit done.
Yeah.
And because once you do that, you're going to build disciplines that are really strong, these strong roots, these strong foundations that no one can break you of them. And it's actually kind of cool too, because it's a little bit of alone time, which is a sacrifice with a family and stuff. But like, it's awesome. You get to have that little drive to the gym. You get that 20, 30 minutes on the step mill, and you get to throw your headphones on and just be with your own thoughts for a little bit. And it'll be challenging, but it'll be crazy rewarding.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it'll be early. It's only getting colder now, so everything's gonna get a little bit harder. And then I have to figure out how to make more time in an already busy, life
Yeah.
for the wife and the kids. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I was telling Mark, I'm like, I was initially thinking like it's just gonna take a lot more work inside the gym, and then when my fiance and I were like trying to schedule out our weeks so that way we have a set schedule, so I can tell Mark when I'm gonna do cardio and when we can train and whatnot. And then it kind of just hit me like, okay, yeah, it is gonna have to be stronger in the gym and more time in the gym, but I have to raise my game everywhere.
Yeah.
Here on the podcast, here at work, and then most importantly at home, because man, if I mess anything up at home, then it's just everything kind of crumbles and falls apart.
How much are you weighing now?
Okay, it's fine.
Oh,
no, yeah, it's okay.
you keeping it a secret?
Not really. So just so, like, to break it all down, when I finished Sarmageddon, I was 196 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
When I started Shredageddon, I was 192.
Mm-hmm.
Last week I was down to 182. This week I'm at 180. This
Mhm.
morning I woke up around 179. So it's trickling down. Everything's feeling really, really good.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to bed a little bit hungrier than I was comfortable with.
Mm-hmm.
But the goal, right?
Yeah.
I have the goal in mind and I'm focused on it, and nothing's gonna break that.
Being comfortable with hunger is something that people will have to get used to at some point too. But again, if we're talking about someone who has accumulated body fat, has had bad habits for a while, you probably don't really need to be very hungry in the beginning, because there might be, especially if your habits are bad. Like if you have really shit habits, if you're consuming a lot of calories, through drinks and stuff like that, ditching the calories from the drinks isn't really going to make you hungry.
Mm-hmm.
It's just going to be a small change, not that hard to do. But if you're trying to start to cut back on your food, which is something at some point you'll have to figure out a way to make that work and make that happen, that is something that you're going to have to, examine.
Calories from the drinks, though, like especially if it's really sugary drinks, even if they ditch those calories, because it's a lot of sugar, you'll probably feel like you're hungry.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? 'Cause you're
don't
like,
have
where's
something to-
all that sugar that I used to have? You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
right.
So that's one thing. That's why, when it comes to just like, let's say someone doing flexible dieting for a show or whatever, and they're adding in all these foods, right? It's different than an individual that's trying to lose a lot of weight, because I don't think it's very good to try to fit some of those foods in nowadays, at least. I don't think it's good to give room for these foods.
What do you think of diet drinks?
Like you talking about
Just in general, like someone loves fucking Mountain Dew, and
like Diet Mountain Dew or something
they
like
just
that?
love Mountain Dew, period. And you're like, well, if you really love it that much, then try Diet Mountain Dew.
I think it could be a good first step. I think it's a really good first step because it is 0 calories or whatever, but I don't think it's a good idea. 'Cause it's not healthy. Like,
No.
it's really not.
Yeah,
It's not something that you want to be having every single day.
Right.
What you'll see a lot is when people are doing shows or whatever, right? I know we're not talking about,
Yeah, bodybuilding, the Crystal Light and all that stuff. Yeah.
but also Diet Coke. Diet Coke is
Yeah,
a big
yeah.
one for them. Like,
Right.
I know guys that would drink multiple Diet Cokes every single day,
Yeah.
multiple, because it's 0 calorie. And yeah, it doesn't necessarily affect their amount of calories, but it's not something good to have.
Right.
It'd be much better if you could slowly wean yourself off of having to have that at all, or feeling like you must have it. So I think it's an amazing first step, and it's great that you have that option, because at least now you can get rid of all those calories that's in your normal Mountain Dew. But let's then try to figure out a way to have it less frequently.
People are always talking about money too. Like ditch the diet sodas and drinks and stuff, and just drink water.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to save money on that, and you can spend it on nicer cuts of meat.
Yeah, people. That's why sparkling water, people love that too. Like,
Yeah.
you're talking about
Mhm.
the machine you have at home. That's one, like, because it kind of, the carbonation makes it almost feel soda-ish.
The machine I want.
Uh-huh.
I don't have one, but I just I've heard Mark about spend more time on yourself, or work harder on yourself than you do your job, or just kind of like work in instead of work out. So like I've taken a lot of steps in trying to like better myself and my family. So like with Piedmontese, they do hook us up, but I've already purchased like a lot more than they've given us, like
Mhm.
because it's amazing and it fits the macros perfectly.
Yeah.
So I normally buy like 2 cases of the sparkling water at Costco. I was like, I'm gonna buy a third one and bring it here to the gym, so I always have that here too.
Mhm.
So if I ever crave something, I can just drink sparkling water, and it's so satisfying.
Yeah.
To me, I know people think that it's gross to drink soda water, carbonated water, whatever. To me, it's like it's yeah, dude, it's so thirst quenching, and you do get like the bite right from the fizz.
Yes.
And to me, that's like, yeah, dude. When I think of like chowing down on some food, it's like, what's better? Like, oh, you wash it down with like a soda, right? Well, I still kind of have the same effect. I just don't have all the extra calories and all the shit that's involved with drinking soda.
Yeah.
So in my opinion, I found like a really, really easy hack to do. I know people don't love that flavor or whatever, non-flavor, but if you can get used to it, I mean, you'll never go back. If I touch a real soda now, my teeth feel like they're gonna fall out.
Oh yeah.
It's terrible.
A long time.
Yeah,
I haven't had real soda in forever. What we're talking about here is really tough, because you have to change a lot of the things of what you're made of, and your own conversations with yourself on who you are. I mean, how many times have we heard someone say, "Oh man, I really love food," and they think that. And then there's the opposite side. There's the fitness people who are jumping around all happy, all smiley, saying, "I have so much energy. Like, I feel so good." And the people that are heavy are like, "Fuck you." Like, I just want to eat a fucking cheeseburger. Leave me
Yeah.
alone.
Yeah.
But I think that we could come to like a compromise and maybe like meet in the middle. I think that you can still eat your cheeseburgers with the bun. I still think you can do a lot of things that I wouldn't typically do, especially at this stage, and maybe Nsima wouldn't do, and maybe with Andrew's goals, he's not going to, break those goals for now. But I think that there's a lot of room for you to be flexible with your food. If you're on a ketogenic style diet, maybe every third day, or let's just even say low carb, forget about keto even, let's not even complicate it. Let's just say that you have decided to, eat about 100 carbs a day or something like that, right? And you're trying to get some good exercise in. Every 3 to 5 days, depending on your goal, depending on what you're trying to do, you can have a cheat at the end of the day. You could eat a piece of cake. You could have some ice cream. It's going to have to be reasonable. You can't go crazy with it. And even on occasion, you might be like when I started out at 330 and started losing weight, I had a cheat every day basically, but it was so different than the way I was eating before. So I'll explain. I would take things like, say, like a Perfect Bar. I don't know if anyone's ever had a Perfect Bar, but Jesus Christ, they're amazing. A Perfect Bar is just like smashed up like peanut butter and honey. They're delicious.
okay.
It's all natural stuff, but you can easily overeat them. And if you have 1 or 2 a day, you're not nutritionally sound in other places, then you're going to be not headed in the right direction. But I used to have one of those at night with a piece of dark chocolate, and it was fucking amazing. And so I started having one of those a night, and then I would start to have one kind of every other day, and then I'd have one every day, and then I'd go back and forth. And it turned out I was like, I don't, I don't really think I don't really need that, you know. And so I eventually I started to get rid of it. Um, there was other things that I would, put into the diet here and there. I would make like a keto hot chocolate. I would make keto pancakes once a week. Like I would just started to mix things in. So it's like I was doing like a quote unquote cheat. And I was certainly overeating in terms of like the amount of food I ate,
Mm-hmm.
but I would intentionally do it. It was like a day off, and it was a day to kind of like rest and recover and be like, okay, now I got to get back to it. What you were talking about earlier about stress, the key to stress always is to recover from it. It doesn't matter what the stress is. So you could be overstressing yourself with your diet. You could be so worried about carbs making you fat that you could be stressing yourself out or just thinking that everything's going to make you fat, which is not healthy.
Yeah.
That's not a healthy mindset to be like, I can't eat that. It's going to make me fat. That's not it. To say you can't, to say you don't want to eat it. I choose not to eat it because I have a new goal. That's the dialogue that you should be having. Um, you really have to start to have, some healthy conversation with yourself on how you're going to handle a lot of these different situations. But your diet should be open to at least some treats here and there. But if your goal is going to be real extreme, like something like what Andrew's trying to do, there's really not much room to fuck around. But as we're talking here in this scenario, losing 20, 30 pounds for someone who's pretty heavy, who hasn't dieted before, the stress that you're going to run into, you have to figure out ways to recover from it. You have to figure out ways to feel better about what you're doing. You have stress at home, you got stress at work. You can overstress yourself from your own workouts. You can overdo your own workouts.
Yeah.
We talk all the time about sleep. These are all things that you're going to have to really take a look at. Family. You're going to have to really start to, people are like, oh, you got to remove all the people that are negative in your life. Well, you have to try to maybe not remove, but spend less time with those people. Get around people that are going to move the needle for you. Get around people that are going to encourage you. Get around people that are going to inspire you, people that are going to fire you up. But really, you have to be able to recover from all the different things that you have going on in your life.
Yeah.
And I would also just say like the your phrases too, like how you describe things or how you say certain things. Like I was telling Mark, I've been calling it keto breath now. I don't know if I actually have keto breath, but when you don't eat for at least 16 hours a day, your breath gets a little weird. It gets kind of dry. I used to call that hunger breath. When your breath is just kind of like it's just like real humid.
You're like dying on the inside.
Yeah. So I always call it hunger breath. And I'm like, wait, but like when I say hunger breath, I instantly think like I'm hungry.
Mm-hmm.
And so what happens when I'm like, oh, I got hunger breath, I need to eat. Like I would just say it without even realizing it. Like, wait, no, I don't need to eat because I still have X amount of time left on this fast.
Yeah.
I'm now calling it keto breath, even though if that's not even accurate. Like I'm not in ketosis, or maybe I am. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm changing not only like my habits and like how I'm eating, but I'm also changing the things that I'm saying because I don't want to fall into a trap of like, oh, I got hunger breath, so I got to start eating.
Yeah.
Because that's what I would normally do. Like, I mean, you can attack this from so many different angles. Like, it's not just about doing one thing or the other. Like, physically or verbally saying things to yourself can help so much. And I know because it's helping me right now.
I think that we could have like honestly a full-on episode about the whole the mind side of this, because you could be trying to do everything like the episode we just had yesterday or something 2 days ago where we talked about simple habits that you can pick up, right? You could do all of those things, but if your internal self-talk is continuously negative and if your inputs are continuously negative, you will F up in a few days.
Yeah.
You won't just F up, you will fall off.
Yeah.
Like Tyler Bray, when he was on, we mentioned this too, when he was like, find a way to motivate yourself every single day, play something in the morning, etc. There's so many things that I do like that I just thought of whenever I'm going to jujitsu, there's this song that triggers me to get hype.
Yeah.
And I don't even think about that. But when we were talking about that right now, I play that song every single time at some
Mhm.
point, and it gets me so freaking hyped to go
Mhm.
train. Like internally, I start to rev up before I get on the mat.
Yeah.
And that's just something that like is normal, right?
Mhm.
But if you can have these things that just become they give you an emotional response, a positive emotional response to go do the things and get the habits you need to have. That's
Mhm.
crazy.
I
Yeah.
think when we think of trigger, I think we're thinking of negative, like that's going to trigger like a negative response, but things can trigger a positive response
Mhm.
too. And what are those things in your life right now that are triggering a positive response towards you walking, towards you eating better, towards you being healthy? Maybe you don't really have much now, but maybe you need to find it. Maybe you need to figure it out.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also like be your own cheerleader. Like you're not going to really get from point A to B if you're always doubting yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Like sell out and fucking be like, no one else is going to do it for you. So that's another thing that I've always dealt with, and I'll gonna try to build the balls up to lay it all out for shred again.
Mm-hmm.
But it was something my dad had told me a long time ago, and it stuck with me for a long time. And like it was weird. A lot of stuff changed in my life after he said something to me. Well, I've said it on the podcast, but basically he looked at my cousins and were like, "Oh, those my nephews are jacked," and he looked at me and he's like, "Oh, mine sucks." So
Wow.
yeah, I know it sucked, but ever since then, I became real. Here's that word that I can't pronounce: self-conscious. Yeah, and so I've always like had a lot of doubt in
I
my
think it's
mind.
conscious,
Conscious?
self-conscious.
Conscious.
Self-conscious.
There, you got it.
Conscience.
Conscious.
I fucked
No,
up.
conscious,
Conscious.
self-conscious,
No.
Conscious.
conscious. There you go.
Conscious.
Conscious.
Yes.
Self-conscious.
There you go.
Yes.
Hey, there we go.
And that's all the time we got
And
for
we're out.
today. Thank you very much.
Strength is never a weakness.
Leaving on a win.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I've always dealt with like negativity in my own mind,
Yeah.
and now I feel like I'm making the turning the corner, and it does like I said with the verbal side of things, because that's a little bit more extreme, but even mentally, like going to the gym yesterday knowing that I was going to have a good bench session, and I put up a lot of weight, like more weight than I expected to put up, which was awesome. It's dude, everything, like I just said, so many angles that we could attack.
Self-doubt is a crazy thing. I think everyone suffers from some version of it. And I think that preparedness is like a key factor to having less self-doubt. So if I'm going to go and let's say do like a TED talk, right? I've talked in front of a lot of people. I've done a lot of different things. I've talked in front of a lot of different cameras, a lot of different ways. I'd be really nervous to do a TED talk, but I'd also get prepared for it. So I'd be like, oh shit, they said they want me to do one in August, and I would be like, okay, more seminars. I need to do more seminars. I need to get out in front of people more.
Mm-hmm.
I need to establish like what am I going to talk about? Like I need like I don't usually talk about anything in particular when I do these seminars and stuff. It's sometimes about a squat or deadlift, but there's not really a lot of prep that goes into it. I talk about some of my life principles, but they're not really ironed out all that well. They're just like they just come to me as we're speaking. I would prep for that. I would say, all right, well, maybe I need to work on talking, and just as weird as it would be, like I need to like talk in front of my wife and my kids. One night I need to have them sit on the couch, and then I need to pretend that I'm coming out for this TED talk, and I need to like just that would be fucking weird, but that's what I would need to do, right? So if you get prepped for something, then it breaks down those barriers. But I do think there's some people that have so much self-doubt, it's really crippling to the point where they're like, I'm not even gonna really try to get any momentum towards that because that ain't for me. Like I just can't. And I think a lot of people do that with weight loss. Unfortunately, they're like, well, Nsima, like he's fit, so of course he's doing these 10-minute walks, and of course he's doing fasting because he's already fit. It's easy for him. And it's like, well, these are some things that could be actually very simple for you. They're not going to be easy in the beginning, but they are very simple to follow. It's not like you're going to be, dying doing a 10-minute walk. Well, hopefully not.
Yeah, I think that's where like maybe trying to build smaller wins is super important.
Yeah.
Rather than maybe taking on a 24-hour fast or whatever start with something small that you initially start off with. That's where a lot of, I think,
No,
that's,
bro. Monday, I'm going no carbs, and I'm gonna mess around with some 48-hour fasts, and like I'm gonna be firing off ketones. I'm doing a
2 hours on the treadmill.
CrossFit workout
Mhm.
after the treadmill.
Yep.
Yep, that's what
Yeah.
I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
and
Starting on Monday.
And that's where it gets tough, you know, like you wouldn't tell anybody not to really try and go do something to better themselves if they want to do it. But at the same time, if you know that you stop yourself from doing a lot of these things, or you have a lot of self-doubt, that's where trying to take smaller steps comes into play, or setting up smaller wins like we just talked about. Trying to remove this from your life, and like just in terms of going and eating out at some restaurant, try not to do that as often. That in itself is a win. And count those things up, write those things down. Like Andrew said, be your own cheerleader and pat yourself on the back for these small things, so you can slowly build them up, rather than trying to take on a giant undertaking, failing on that and thinking you suck.
Right, I agree. I think, when if somebody is to go to the doctor and they are suffering from like depression or something, the doctor is going to try to find out what's going on currently, and then they're going to start to dig into like your past, and eventually, through some sessions or something like that, they're going to start to uncover that there was some things that were going on in your life that led to a lot of these things. And I think what you talk about often with people that you help is you're like, hey, why don't you just like write down what you eat for the next few days. Don't really try to like diet or impress me with your food, just whatever you normally eat. It's because you need like some sort of information about their history. Like you also need to, not just their current eating habits, but, what did you used to eat? What foods do you like? What foods do you dislike? You need to kind of like have all this information. But once they write stuff out, then you can start to see, and you can be like, okay, you actually ate like 7 times, in each of these 3 examples that you gave me of these days of eating. If we count up all the snacks and stuff that you had, and then you can start to make decisions on what you're going to do with those foods. Like, do we just completely eliminate them? Do we just have a conversation with the client and say, hey, do you think you could maybe ditch some of these snacks that you're having during the day, and just you could save that little treat at the end of the day? Let's just see what that looks like. And then you're also drinking soda, and I saw that you had a Frappuccino, and there was a bag of potato chips in there. Can we get rid of, let's see if we can get rid of some of that stuff, and then see what it looks like. So you're going to need to know, like, what are people up to? Like, what are they normally doing? And that's what you'll have to examine for yourself. If you're just trying to be a little healthier, you'll have to just examine, like, what are you doing? Like, what's going on each day? And then you need to figure out a way, how do you make it easier on yourself? Because it's not easy.
Yeah.
You don't want to be hungry. If you're hungry and you go shopping, or if you're hungry and go to a restaurant, you're going to fail.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have enough willpower yet. You're not strong enough to handle that.
Yeah. But on that note of hunger, man, like that's a big thing that over time you got to, like, no matter who you are, you need to be okay with like feeling. You got to be okay with being hungry. Even if you're like, I think you mentioned at the beginning of a diet, maybe not, you don't have to worry about that. But sooner or later, that needs to be something that doesn't bother you, that doesn't make you act. Because if every time you're hungry, it makes you go find something to eat, then you're always at the whim of your body. You're at the whim of hunger, and that's not good in the long run. It's
losing
very
any
short term.
You're not losing any weight currently, right?
No,
You've been about the same weight for
last year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, still 240 to 245.
And then, are you hungry in a day at all?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. There we go.
Like I feel it, but the thing is again now.
So for you to not accumulate body fat, as we all recognize that you have genetics on your side, right? And you work fucking very hard too. We recognize that. But like, this is a guy that this is the guy that everyone looks at and is like, oh man, he gets to eat whatever he wants or whatever. He doesn't. He still has to have this discipline. And if you were just eating all day, every day, you would be fatter than you are now.
Yeah, substantially.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. And so that's why I think, again, if you're heavier, or if you're someone who's a little bit overweight, I don't think fasting is even remotely unsafe. I really
No.
don't. No, like a lot of people are like, oh, it'll cause eating disorders or whatever. No, if you're overweight, anorexia is the least of your woes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Seriously,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's the least of your woes. Like just not eating for a few hours doesn't need to be 16 or 18 or 20 hours. Not eating breakfast or
Mhm.
whatever. It's not that big of a deal.
I always think that fasting is kind of the easiest road into all this. And if you want to really try to cheat the system, to see if you can cut off your food about 2 hours early before you go to bed, that might be a tough habit to start to do. But the sooner that you start your fast, the sooner you get to end it, kind of. So you can kind of,
Mhm.
you're gonna have to play a lot of tricks on yourself. You're gonna have to like kind of lie to yourself in order to like make some of these things work. Like, oh yeah, fasting's great. That's why you hear people talking about how great fasting is, because
Yeah.
we're really lying. Like we'd rather be fucking eating, to be honest with you, right?
Mhm.
But it is a good way to gain control over the overall amount of food that we tend to consume, because we just fucking eat way too much.
Yeah. One note I want to make is like I think athletes or individuals that train and they eat a lot and they're looking at their food habits and it's not the best. Understand that you're not out of the you're not out of the water. You are in danger because when that day comes and you're not doing as much or you
Mhm.
have to slow down. That's why you see a lot of people that were former really fit athletes get really big. You see it all the time
Yeah.
because they can't do as much as they used to and they eat the same way. And because they eat the same way, they accumulate a lot of fat and they don't know how to get back. Now they're not able to exercise as much. They're not losing weight. They haven't built good food habits. You will get out of shape. So right now, when you're in shape, this is the time to start building better eating habits because when that day comes, you got to slow down. You don't want to have bad habits.
And there's so many people that exercise often, and they're nowhere near having the body that they want. And
Mhm.
that's like, I understand too. Like everyone that exercises for a period of time is going to start to really like level up with the body that they want, right?
Yeah.
Somebody who gets a Porsche might one day want a Lambo, right? Like that's gonna happen. Those are kind of natural progressions, but that's not what I'm talking about here. I'm just, I think that there's a lot of people that exercise frequently. They have a decent meal plan. They say they eat clean, but there's a few things that they can change. Just as simple as the person who needs to get momentum towards dropping weight, who's never really dieted before.
Mm.
I see it a lot in powerlifting. These people are 20%, 25% body fat. Sometimes sometimes certain sports have certain body fat percentages that lend themselves to that sport and helps you be more productive.
Yeah.
However, if you're not in that category and you're not like, you're not so attached, if you can let go of that strength a little bit, you need to adhere to some new disciplines as well, and you need to dive in, and you need to kind of like, what would you rather have? Do you want to, always have a consistent 405 bench, or would you rather, be 15 pounds lighter? Figure it, just figure it out. What's the priority? And then if the priority is to always have the 405 bench, then that's fine. But I still think that exactly what I agree 100% with Nsima, that you still need to have some healthy practices and make sure that you're not just stuffing yourself with a bunch of junk.
Yeah.
I got a pretty funny question from Ryan in the live chat, and I just want to. Well, he just asked, "How do you fast and not be an asshole?" But I know, right? That's good. But what I want to say is like, yeah, why is it different when you're fasting? Like, I don't get hangry at all. Like, it's just like, oh, there's a little bit of hunger there, but like, why is it? Because we're not like having a lot of carbs and we're not feeling that, or like, what's the deal? Because I didn't even really think about it. Like, I don't get agitated at all, but when I was eating throughout the day, I'd be like, oh fuck, I gotta get my next
I
meal.
would say that most people that are intermittent fasting, especially like the intermittent fasting that we're doing and that we have you messing with, we're eating pretty damn good.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
we're eating healthy food, and we also have a good amount of calories in our body. So none of us are like extremely deprived of calories. And I think that's important too, because we're not like starving, right?
Mhm.
But somebody that tries, I sometimes hear somebody say, "Oh, like I kind of do that anyway," and it's like, no, You really don't, you know. And then also fasting is a lot easier if you are producing some ketones, and you will produce ketones. The lower that your blood glucose is, you'll be in a line to produce ketones more often that way. But simply put, I think that just because you're like, this is the amount of hours that I'm going to fast for, I think you just become okay with it, and you get more comfortable with the hunger. And hunger, from everything that I've dealt with from a hunger perspective, it's just like these pulses. It just comes at you and then it stops. You know, it comes at you, it might hit you 3 times in the arm, like, dude, you got to eat, dude, you got to eat, dude, you got to eat. And then it's 5 times. And then later in the day, it's like 8 times. Your stomach growls and you're like, fuck. You're like, oh my God, I'm actually pretty hungry.
Yeah.
But then every time it like dies off, and it dies off and it dies off. And I fasted for 72 hours before. And it's like, once you get to like 18 hours or so, you just don't really care anymore.
Isn't it funny how the hunger pulse doesn't, you would think that the pulse of hunger gets worse the longer you fast, but it kind of is just the same feeling. On hour 36 or whatever, you get that pulse, but it's the same as it was on hour 8. You know what I mean? It's not like you're now ravenously hungry. It just stays. It's the same feeling of hunger, and then it goes away. I think you mentioned something that's really important. How are you not an asshole? It's because it's deliberate. Like, you know, okay, I'm not going to eat for 16 hours. That's why it's so easy for you right now, because it wasn't unplanned. You didn't
also know when your meal's coming and what meal it's going to be.
Exactly.
That's huge.
Yeah, like it's not like you were planning to eat today, but you got so busy with work and you weren't able to go to Chipotle at noon. So now you're thinking about Chipotle that you were supposed to have at noon, but you got to keep working, right? It's different. You were planning on not eating for 18 hours. So you put that on yourself and you're okay with it. That's why we're not assholes when we fast.
Yeah.
We're doing it to ourselves.
Yeah. And also, it just, like I told Mark, like, it feels really rewarding when I do get the like the hunger pulse. And I'm just like, yep, that's my fat. Just like, hey, we need help. Bring in the troops. Like, we're sending out a SOS, trying to get more fat in here. And it's like, nope, not today.
Yeah.
So,
No, it's actually very, very satisfying when you feel hungry and you don't answer it. It's awesome.
People are just like, you're full of shit. But it's like, hey, when you go to the gym and you're chasing the pump, like, does it like technically feel good? Like, no, it burns, right?
It burns.
But does it feel good? It feels great.
Yeah.
Kind of like that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, like, you bring up a good point. Like, when you get a pump and, you know, it's kind of excruciating, you get that pump and you kind of ride it out and you get a few exercises in a row and you really sustain the pump for a whole workout. I don't know if people realize this, but like, you helped make yourself bigger that day. You gave yourself some support. You gave yourself a step in the right direction for hypertrophy. And in certain things, it's hard to really tell. It's hard to tell, like, when did you make progress? Or I think with something like jujitsu in the beginning, you probably have left a lot of jujitsu practices kind of like your head in a knot. Like, you're like, I don't know how that really went, because like, I kind of sucked today. I couldn't figure out how to get this guy in this hold. I couldn't figure out how to escape from this other one. But then you have other practices where it clicks in pretty good. And you're like, you know what? You're like, I got better today. Like, I felt that I got better today. I moved faster. The guy tried to put me in this position and I was able to get out of that one quicker and things like that. And when it comes to body fat, it's a tough thing to like feel that you're burning body fat. But I think that when you're hungry, that hunger, I don't want to say the longer that you ride it out, because I don't want to give people the wrong message, but I do think riding it out is important. And I do think that is like the fat burning process. You ever just get done with like a good cardio session and you feel, you know, leaner, you know, or get done with a good training session, you just kind of feel leaner, or you can feel your stomach coming in and stuff, and you're like, oh shit, like, okay, like, you just feel leaner than you did, you know, previous days.
Yeah.
Some of that is just a step in the right direction. And you will have to get comfortable with being hungry if you're trying to get lean. But again, if you're just trying to lose some lbs, the hunger thing is going to come in a little bit later. You're going to have to feel more hunger, because you're trying to go from being a larger person that you've been for I don't know how many years. You have a certain energy requirement. And now you're like shutting that energy off. You're like, we're not, we don't need as much energy anymore. And you're like, bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
We still need that energy. Like we still need that fuel. And it's going to be difficult to deal with at first.
Yeah. Yeah. I have on my whiteboard at home, like, it's okay to suck. I have that written down just as a constant reminder every single day that, like, I'm going to do something today that's going to feel uncomfortable. I'm just going to be bad at, but that's fine. And I think that's something that, especially when it comes to dieting and starting off these things, starting off a lot of things that we're talking about, it's okay that you're bad at it. It's okay that it doesn't feel good and that it doesn't come intuitively and that you had a few fuck ups during the week. It's okay to suck. Because I think a lot of the reasons why, you don't progress is because you're not okay with that beginning few weeks or few months where it's just you're not doing that great, even though you're slowly moving in the right direction.
It's like how Mark always talks about kids, right? They want to play a certain game or like they want to play basketball or something, and then they suck at it. I don't want to play anymore. It's kind of like that, right?
It's exactly like
Yeah.
that.
I fell off the wagon. It's like I've tried every diet, but like it just doesn't work for me. Like no, you had a couple of stumbles, get up, keep moving.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's super important there.
When we're talking about exercise and we're talking about trying to, have some new habits with your nutrition, what we end up really talking about is willpower. And this is a way for you consistently and constantly work on your willpower. You might feel like at the moment that you're not strong enough to try some of these things. But over a period of time, it'll just get easier and easier. It's like a 225-pound deadlift. The weight's sitting on the bar. And you might look at it and say, I've always had a bad back. I don't have any clue on how to lift that. I can barely lift one plate on each side, and you're asking me to lift two. Well, the longer that you do it and the longer that you work on it, the easier it's going to be to express how strong you are. The longer that you work on this, the easier it's going to be to be able to express the type of willpower that you have. It's something that can be built up, and you can have a reservoir of willpower that you can direct anywhere, and it feels amazing once you start to adhere to some of these disciplines. It's really fucking cool, man, and it's nice to be like, I don't need that, I don't need anything. Again, pointing back to like a John Cena. I remember when he was here like 2 years ago. I just asked him if he needed anything. I was like, I hit him up on a couple things because I know he was just staying in like this, trailer type thing. It's giant bus that he's in, but the bus has everything. He's fucking John Cena. He rolls like a rock star, right? But I was like, hey, you want me to bring any food? He was like, no, I'm good. I was like, how about a coffee? He's like, no, I'm good. And then I was like, how about a coffee for your girlfriend? He's like, no, we're good. And I asked him like one more thing or something. I'm like, just because I was stopping somewhere too.
Yeah.
And he just wrote back and he just wrote sustained. Like, I'm good. Like, I have everything that I need. But what a cool way just to like live your life, period.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need shit from anybody. Like, that's a great mentality to have. You don't need the donut. You don't need, like, you want it, which is understandable. And there should be a time and place for it because donuts are fucking awesome. But you should be sustained. You should be like, I don't need that. I don't want to choose to do that because I don't want to end up looking like everybody else.
Yeah.
I want to look different. I want to be different. I want to be made of something different.
I said no to Red Robin last night.
Oh my God.
Oh,
I know.
Red Robin's actually, it's been a long time since I've been there. but it's
Bottomless
so good.
fries or something?
Yep, endless fries. And then they
Wait,
got
did I
that
say bottomless? I said bottomless, right? Is that
Yeah, I think it's bottomless. Is it
It's-
endless
it's
or bottomless?
bottomless, endless?
bottomless? Sounds
I think it's bottomless.
interesting.
Yeah, bottomless.
Bottomless.
Anyway.
No, bottom. I never really thought about the word bottomless until now.
Doesn't
Yeah.
end.
Sick.
Yeah, but no, I got invited and I was like, sorry, babe. Like, you guys go have fun, enjoy it. But like, I got the Piedmontese flat iron steak waiting for me. Like,
Mhm.
that's where I'm heading. And it was like, it would have been really cool to go. And it's like, I probably could have made some adjustments, but nah, it's not for me right now. I was sustained.
Yeah, that Red Robin's some bullshit right there.
Yeah, that volcano of onion rings or whatever it is.
My kids
Tower.
love that place. I think they give you like they give you like giant ass milkshakes there or something too.
Yeah.
My kids, they would get like a milkshake like in a glass, and then it came in that metal thing too.
The metal thing is nice.
Yeah, why not just put all of it in the metal thing?
Yeah.
It just doesn't fit. I
Yeah.
guess. I don't know.
On the note of milkshakes,
Does it bring all the boys to the yard?
mine does. But
Yeah.
what I was gonna say was, I mean, I don't know how like this can work for a lot of people, but like I got some heavy whipping cream from Costco. Okay, so I didn't use a lot of it.
Pour it
But-
on your nipples. I'm listening.
Yeah, and
I'm in.
squeezed a little bit. But anyway, I poured a little bit of heavy whipping cream into a shaker bottle, along with some Keto Pro and then the Perfect Keto Whey. I took like a scoop and a half of Keto
man.
Pro, a scoop of Perfect Keto Whey, some heavy whipping cream and some water. Shook that baby up. And the thing is because of the heavy whipping cream, you don't need to use a lot to get a milkshake consistency.
It's so good.
It's so good.
Oh my god.
Like that's been
Yeah.
my thing. Like that, like
I went on a keto
Oh my
diet for
God.
that.
yes.
That's the only reason why I went back on keto was because of that.
Like I don't need to I don't need a milkshake because this legit tastes like a chocolate kind of
Oh, man,
vanilla-y
it's good.
milkshake. It's so good. It's so good and it's not bad.
No, there's little things that you can do. There's little things that you can put into your diet. I was mentioning like the cheats, at the end of the day, and I've done it with Quest bars as well, and I've done it with Perfect Keto bars as well. It's like just find, what's the thing that you like. Maybe like I've also done it with fruit, which doesn't sound all that exciting. It doesn't sound that awesome, but when you're eating foods that aren't sweet and you get rid of sugar and you get some different fruits together, dump some cinnamon on there, throw some whipped cream on there, and you're having a fucking party.
Oh yeah.
That shit's delicious. I mean,
Yes.
it is really good. It sounds dumb to be like, oh, this fruit is really yummy, but it's great, and it's gonna have fiber in it. It doesn't have has sugar in it, but it's not gonna be the same as eating a fucking Snickers bar. That's for sure.
Mhm.
Ooh, Snickers bars. Should we get
Yeah.
some?
It's been
That's usually how the podcasts go. We're all this
At the
positive
yeah.
and
Yeah, we
really
always-
good advice, and
Yeah.
we end it with
We end up in a weakened state, and we're like, fuck this.
What was I was oh yeah. Okay. So 2 mornings ago, I see that you guys posted the Chef Rush video when you guys were at Camden's
Yeah.
cooking. So I was like, oh, this looks interesting. I started watching it, and then I was like 8 minutes in, I'm like, I'm so hungry.
Oh man. Yeah, those guys did a great job with that video.
Yeah, like it's legit. Like, okay, if you're doing this whole fasting thing, don't watch food.
Yeah.
Don't watch it because I would have been perfectly okay. I didn't end up eating, but in that moment, I had to turn the video off.
Let's give people a couple strategies with fasting. So I think, there are techniques to do like dry fasting, but we're not really talking about that for today. I have noticed that even just drinking water helps.
Yes.
Like sometimes when I'm pretty hungry, I'm like, I'm just gonna drink water, and I'll drink, a bottle or a glass of water. Couple other things that have helped me. We talked a lot about the 10-minute walks, just going on a walk, being occupied. If you have a day where you're like, oh, tomorrow's a day off, and I get to go do A, B, and C. Probably not a great day to fast. You could still do it if you want to be a badass or whatever, but if you have you don't have much work and there's not going to be a lot of activity, let's say you're going to like a baseball game or something, not a great day to fast. You're going to be too tempted, and it's just too annoying and too frustrating. So being occupied, I think, is really beneficial. And one of the major killers of hunger is working out. Getting in a good workout. You do jujitsu and you lift, and it's like, well, there's 2 times a day that you're not going to eat, right? And that's 3 hours or 4 hours worth, about 2 hours of each or something like that. What are some things that help you? You got any tricks?
Well, I know that when we talked to Cole Robinson, he wasn't a fan of it, but I do think caffeine's pretty great for most people when it comes to a
coffee
fast.
is great.
It's an appetite suppressant, so you won't feel as hungry. So that you mentioned water, working out. I'm gonna reiterate this. I feel like I'm just repeating the statements you said, but really keeping busy or having something to do. If you don't have something to do tomorrow, figure out something that you can do. Like you don't have to not do anything, but of course there are days you want to take breaks. But if you can figure out an activity or two that you can do, whether it's going to take a hike or
That's a great
or
idea. And be like,
whatever.
I'll eat after that.
Exactly. Because when you're legit doing nothing, that's when those cravings come. And you start to be like, it's hard to fight it when you're sitting around doing nothing and there's nothing else other than to go grab something to eat. So that's super important. We talk about it a lot, but if you didn't sleep well the night before and you got 4 hours of sleep, you are you're fucked.
Yeah.
You're gonna feel so hungry, and fighting it is almost just a useless battle.
I don't know. Like my sweet tooth comes out hard if I haven't been sleeping.
Same.
I'm like, oh my God, I need ice cream, or I need,
Yeah, and
cookies or
that's
whatever.
where my mind goes, directly to sugary foods.
Yeah.
Not even to just normal food like a normal fast. It goes directly to the sweet
Bad
shit.
stuff, yeah.
Yes. So that is such a big deal. If you're not getting good sleep and you want to try this whole fasting thing, you're making it exponentially harder.
Mm-hmm.
Exponentially harder.
Yeah, for me, I've just been calculating time. So like I use the bedtime app on my phone, like your bedtime app on your iPhone, and I just like, okay, last night I stopped eating at this time, and then I'll keep rotating till it goes to the next day, and I can be like, okay, at 18 hours it'll be whatever 2 o'clock or whatever the case. So then I know like, okay, I'm just not gonna get hungry till then. But when the hunger pain does come, or hunger impulse or whatever it is, I take some of these guys right here, Mind Bullet.
Oh, yeah,
this
actually.
helps a ton. And then coffee, just plain black coffee. That I thought that was crazy. I remember in Mark's book, The War on Carbs, when he was talking about a coffee fast. I was like, that would destroy me, and it would have at one point in my life. Like when I had coffee at all, like it's just straight to the bathroom. Now, because maybe there's nothing in my system or my gut's just getting better, I can drink coffee and be pretty like I'm okay. If I drink it and I probably have a full stomach, it will move things a little bit quicker.
Yeah.
Or if I drink it first thing in the morning, it'll definitely push things out. Yeah, but I do that, and then just I walk around the block. It's super easy to do. And like I said in the past, like by the time I get back, I forgot why I even went on the walk. Like that's how powerful it is. Those 3 things have been just helping a ton. And then,
Mind Bullet helps a ton with fasting. I love it.
yeah, and then of course the perfect keto stuff. The whether it be the MCT oil powder or the nootropic.
Got some of the MCT oil, that powder in this coffee
Yeah,
right
same
now.
here.
Mixed in. It's so good.
Yeah, the vanilla is my favorite right now.
Where's the salted?
I don't know. I've been
God,
wanting
I've been
to try
looking
the salted.
everywhere for that salted caramel MCT oil.
That
see, is
shit
it right
done
here?
walked
Oh,
away.
Could it be?
That's vanilla.
Got up and walked away.
Huh.
Let's see.
Gosh, someone in this office took it.
I think somebody done stole it.
Who stole
Done
it?
stole it.
That's weird.
Thieves.
Yeah.
I wish I could trust people around here.
I don't know where it went. It's weird. In the War on Carbs book, I talk about a coffee fast, and there's a bunch of different ways of doing it. But blending up some butter in your coffee. People are aware of bulletproof coffee. Bulletproof coffee is supposed to be grass-fed butter and MCT oil. But there's so many different ways. Just putting something in your coffee that has some calories in it and not a lot of calories. So that's where, if you're going to use like heavy cream or something, you certainly can use heavy cream. But you need to be cautious. Like at Starbucks, if you ask for heavy cream, they're going to dump in a lot, and your coffee is going to look very light, and it's going to be loaded with calories. I don't even know. I mean, I would say, I don't know, between like 500, 800.
It'd be a lot.
Right? It could be a lot. Like that's just, now it'll taste pretty good, but the taste to me is not worth that amount of calories. Altering the taste of your coffee with a little bit of cream, yeah, I can get on board with that. But anyway, a coffee fast, you can do just straight up black coffee. It can be hot, it can be cold, but you can also implement MCT or butter into your coffee, and that's not a real fast anymore because now you're consuming some food. That's calories, right? However, it can help you stay on your path, help you stay on your plan where you're just trying to basically to have this half of the day, this front half of the day. You're consuming a lot less calories. Maybe normally you would consume, 1,000 or 1,500 calories. Now you only consumed like 300 from your coffee or coffees. Perfect Keto has great products. You can put your collagen protein in there. You could throw in some of the MCT oil powder. Just gives you a great option and just helps a little bit with that hunger.
And it makes your coffee taste amazing.
We might as well hook people up.
Yep. Perfectketo.com/power project. At checkout, enter promo code power project for 15% off the MC2 oil powder, the nootropic, all the bars, everything we just talked about to help you with your fast.
You guys see those ribeyes that I cooked up last night?
I did.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I thought those were burger patties.
No.
Well, I cooked up. So I had a double dinner.
Mm.
I did a double Piedmontese
Double take.
stacker. I had it's 2 giant ribeyes,
Wow.
grass fed,
Oh.
finished. They were fucking awesome. And then my follow up dinner was this guy.
So I just want to
Tomahawks.
show that one there,
Yeah,
but
ate the tomahawks.
this guy.
And yeah, the follow up was this food porn that I posted of a Piedmontese
That looks
burger,
amazing.
and I just threw a bunch of cheddar cheese on top of there.
Hey, what are you cooking that on? That looks really cool.
That's like our little thing in our house. I don't know, skillet, I guess. I
Mhm.
don't know what is it.
I'm not gonna watch this.
Look at that.
See,
That's,
you should check it out,
that's
bro.
great.
Yeah, I'm good, bro.
See, I could look at that and not really get. Well,
Don't
I'm
wanna
going to go
Yeah,
ahead and
as you
stop.
stare longer,
Mhm.
things will start to happen.
When I scraped it off the grill, it all scraped off like perfectly.
Oh god.
And then the cheese was like little chips. It was like I was eating little chips with it. It was amazing. Little cheddar chips.
Yeah, that's the crunch. I
Yeah.
definitely miss crunch every now and again. That's the
Mhm.
one thing that will eventually like be the thing I have to fight
Oh,
back the most.
I made some wings the other day. I had this fucking amazing recipe going on. I've been working on it for a long time. But I threw on I have pork rinds that are like smashed up.
Yes.
And I just bought them off of Amazon. It was like inexpensive. It's a pretty big tub of it too. And I dumped some of those bitches on the wings after they were cooked, and as they were like simmering in the sauce. Holy shit, it was good. It was amazing. You bite into the wing, and it has that buffalo sauce and the butter and everything all coming together all at once, and then you get that little crunch at the end.
Mm-hmm.
That's the good
That
stuff
sounds
there.
great.
Yeah.
It's fucking awesome. Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah. For Piedmontese beef, you guys know my fat's low, carbs are a little bit higher, and then protein, I think I'm at 240 grams a day. Piedmontese fits perfectly with that because the fat's low, protein's obviously high. It cooks fast. I did cook the flat iron steaks last night in the air fryer because it was running late on the day.
How was it?
It was amazing. It took 10 minutes to cook an entire flat iron steak.
Mm-hmm.
That's ridiculous. Okay, you guys really, really need to give this a go. Head over to Piedmontese.com, Piedmontese.com. At checkout, enter promo code Power Project for 25% off your order. If your order is $99 and above, you get free 2-day shipping. I ordered Sunday night, got it by Wednesday. Cooking ever since.
I always do a little dance when you spell out the letters of
I know.
Piedmontese.
I saw that.
Yeah, every time.
Gets them happy.
Yeah.
It's smooth. I'm trying to find a picture of my flat irons the other day. I did smoke them and then seared them, but I can't find it.
Smoking
It's
shit.
really annoying me right now. Anywho.
All right.
I'll
I always
find it.
talk about, it's important to have things to look forward to in your diet. And for some people that are listening, it could be some Quest Nutrition bars, chips, pizza. They also have cookies. Quest Nutrition has had great products for many, many years. And, as I was losing a lot of weight, coming down from 330 pounds, I utilized different protein bars to kind of help me get there. But a lot of times it was a Quest bar that I would rely on. And now the bars that they make now are just so good, so ridiculous. A Hero bar, or if you're disciplined in your nutrition, having one of these bars at the end of the day is going to be something that you can really look forward to, and it's not going to hurt your profile of what you've been eating throughout the day. I suggest you hit them up, and I suggest you check out Quest Nutrition.
Yeah, questnutrition.com. At checkout, enter promo code MarksQuest for 20% off your order. Highly recommend the Blueberry Cobbler Hero Bar.
Oh my God. What's the one that you like? Caramel?
Maple pecan, caramel maple,
Oh,
pecan. I think.
Yeah,
Yes.
and then
It's really good. People are gonna think it literally reminds me of Snickers. Yeah, so I don't end up needing that or wanting that fix because I kind of have it already.
yeah.
I'm in
like
that job.
Oh, here we go.
Oh.
See, here's
Ooh, is that you?
that's me.
Mm.
Man.
Hey now.
It was so good,
We're looking at
Y'all
too much.
making me hungry.
I know. We're looking at too much food.
dude. And the grilled onions, though.
Yeah.
Oh.
Nice. Cool.
It's cool that we just talk about fasting, but we don't actually do it.
Mhm.
Great.
Just trick everybody into doing it.
And then we go have a massive meal right after this. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Where can people find you, Nsima?
At Nsima Inyang on Instagram and YouTube. There's a new Smooth Panther video out, by the way. So go check
Hey.
that out. Yes, it is back.
Attaboy. Cool.
How about you?
At I am Andrew Z on Instagram.
I'm at Mark Smelly Bell. Strength is never weakness. Weakness is never strength. Catch y'all later.